Hello everyone, welcome back from Thanksgiving break. I hope you had a nice restful time, ate some good food. I wanted to record this little short video lecture just to go over my expectations for the draft of your proposal letter for this week. Anyone who submitted a first draft for extra credit, I have given you feedback on that, so you can check that out. But I wanted to go over this sample proposal letter with you to hopefully give you a better idea of what your essay should look like, what it should be doing, what the format should be, and how you should integrate all of those sources you have found. Just FYI, if you hear any weird noises in this video, I apologize. Both of my cats are in here, and such are the trials and tribulations of recording this at home and working from home. So this is an example essay about solving drug abuse and mental disorders through a co-occurring treatment method. This student has included a cover sheet. You don't have to, or a title page. You don't have to include a title page for yours unless you really want to. The real important part of this is going over business letter format. So what you can do is use this sample essay as a template for your own. We have here first the address of the campus, BCTC's campus in Danville. So that is your address that you put in the top left-hand corner here. That's the first thing you start with. And you'll notice that everything is left justified all the way down to the end. So that is part of it. It's the normal 12-point Times New Roman font, but it is single space left justified. So then you have a space in between here, and you write the date. This is the date that it is due. Enter another space, and then you write the name and address of whoever you will be addressing your proposal letter to. Remember, this needs to be a specific person. You see here, she has found a director of a specific treatment facility and she will be addressing her letter to that person. And then we have another space, and we have dear, and then whatever the name of that person is, we know it's a Mr. Gilbertson, so we say dear Mr. Gilbertson, and we have a colon here, enter, and now we start the actual essay. So the introductory paragraph is doing just that. It's introducing you to the problem, which is drug abuse, and so we talk about how common it is. You'll see we have our nice in-text citations here. And then we introduce this idea that drug abuse and substance abuse is often connected to mental illness or trauma, and how difficult it is to diagnose one or the other because they both kind of blend together. And so at the very end of her introductory paragraph, she has a nice thesis statement here. Many people who suffer from a substance use disorder and a mental illness are unable to maintain sobriety because the majority of treatment facilities do not utilize co-occurring treatment methods. So we know that her problem is substance use disorder and mental illness, and we know that her best solution to this problem is co-occurring treatment methods. So all of you guys should make sure that at the end of your introduction, you have a strong thesis statement. That is, this problem can be solved by using this solution. So then she moves in to a background information section. She's talking about what is the definition of a substance abuse disorder, what is the prevalence of mental illness among those who use substance abuse disorders. We're citing facts, statistics from different sources that she has found. Again, doing a good job of using in-text citations. And then we move into why this is a problem, why it's so difficult to diagnose a mental illness when someone already has a substance abuse disorder, and how 70% of the population in the United States who suffers from bipolar disorder suffers also from substance abuse disorder, and how prevalent this issue is. And then we move into her address of her solution. So she starts out here with actually the counter argument to her solution, which is that it requires a lot of resources to implement this solution because it requires retraining people, it requires licensing people differently. So she addresses the counter argument right here. You're welcome to do that somewhere in your essay. Talk about what resources would be required to implement your solution. And the most important part of that is if you bring up your counter argument, you need to refute it. So she does that right under here, where she talks about how even though it would take a lot of resources in order to implement the solution, in the long run, they would end up saving money because these other treatment plans are ineffective and cause relapse. So then she moves into defining exactly what different types of co-occurring treatment methods there are, dealing with, she talks about a specific type, which is CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, and just gives a good definition of that, some background information there. And then at the very end, what she does is she directly addresses her audience. So the CEO of House of Hope, that Mr. Gilbertson that she brought up here at the beginning, Mr. Gilbertson. And this is something you are welcome to do. It shows that you have an idea of who this person is and why they are the person to implement your solution. So she explains here that Mr. Gilbertson's the CEO of a treatment facility, and she's asking that he implement this treatment method for that facility's clients. What it would mean for him. And then she ends with this call to action of I hope that this solution will be implemented because it will significantly lower the number of people who are stuck in the revolving door that circles between treatment and relapse. So this is a really good way to end your proposal, is kind of reiterating your argument, saying why you hope your solution will be implemented, what the results of it will be. And her very last little bit is something that you'll see whenever you have to write any sort of business letter, which is the closing remark, which is, I hope you will consider my proposal and I look forward to hearing from you. You can put this in your essay verbatim. That is totally fine. And every business letter ends with sincerely or best, and then comma and your name at the very end. So that is what your essay will look like. I encourage you to go through and read this in its entirety. It'll give you a really good idea of how to kind of synthesize the information you found from your sources into a business letter format that is proposing solution to a problem. And if you have any other questions about business letter format, please reach out to me, and I can help you work through that. It can be slightly confusing if it is the first time you've ever written a business letter. And oh, the only other thing I'll mention about this is that there is a references page at the end. You do need to have a references page. This is really important because we don't want to be plagiarizing. And this is just the normal APA references page that will be started on a new page at the end of your essay. Alright, so the other thing I want to go over before I dissolve into the ether is the requirements for your second draft, which is due on Friday this week. We are not doing a peer review this round for this essay. I thought it would be more helpful if I gave everyone feedback. And your final draft of this will be due on the Friday of finals week on December 11th. So you'll have about a week after you turn in the second draft to be working and finalizing your final draft and to be writing your final reflection, which I'll go over at the beginning of next week. Okay, so for this draft, it is required to be in 12-point Times New Roman font and in block letter format, which is what I just went over with you in the sample proposal letter, where it's single space, left justified, has one space between each paragraph, and has those addresses at the top, and is addressed to a specific person. This draft should be at least 600 words. Your final draft will be 850 to 1,000 words. It can be over that, but minimum 850 words. And because you're only required to write 2 drafts for this essay, your first draft is a little longer than normal. You should be including at least 3 credible sources. Your final draft will have, I think, 5 sources, and your final draft will require you to have at least 1 peer-reviewed academic journal article. You're welcome to try to incorporate that in this round, so I can give you some feedback on it if you like, but you're not required to. And it should have an APA references page and in-text citations for all source material. We want to make sure we're not plagiarizing anything. And that is something I've seen missing from a lot of previous essays, so make sure you do include those in-text citations anywhere you use source material, even if you're not directly quoting it. So your essay should be on topic, which means it's doing the following. You should be giving background information for the problem you seek to fix at the beginning of the essay, proving that your problem matters, so talking about who it affects or what would happen if the problem wasn't solved. And then you should be defining your solution to the problem, maybe providing evidence that your solution's realistic and it would be effective, maybe giving some examples of solutions that have been tried already and that have worked out really well in maybe other countries, and that proves that it will work out really well in the US. Or maybe you want to do what the sample letter did and give kind of a counter argument to your solution and disprove it. Any of that is totally fine, but you do want to make sure you're doing all of those things in this essay and not just focusing on maybe only the problem or only the solution. Alright, so that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions or concerns, you can reach out through email. Remember, don't use Canvas messages, use email. And I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I can also schedule Zoom meetings if anyone feels the need to talk face to virtual face this week. Otherwise, I will leave you to work on your second / maybe first draft of your proposal essay, and please keep in touch.